Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know where our intro music went. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait, here it is. That's embarrassing.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, as Not CFB3 said, it's been a hot minute, but we're back and better than ever. It is now June, everybody. We are 11 Saturdays away from college football coming this Saturday at you. So we are back and better than ever. I'm Captain Boring. I'm your host today, aka if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure how much more we will see him until fall. Dude's got a little human being on the way in about another month or so. After that, I don't really know. Robert, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know how much we'll see him come this season even. Like, I don't know how much free time. So we might have to be holding down this fort, man. Which is kind of scary because we are just two idiots, two white guys with a podcast setup. So that's real fun.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
you know, if it's going to be anyone, it might as well be us. Exactly.
No! Might as well be us. That is true. Could be worse. All right. So some things have happened. Again, I don't like how they switched everything, but we'll figure it out. Let's just go ahead and jump right in here to straight seeding. So the College Football Playoff Committee, it was voted on all the athletic directors and Notre Dame's athletic director have agreed to straight seed. So last year's model, it was very, very confusing. So what they did was they ranked the teams 1 through 25, the College Football Playoff Committee. You with me? They ranked them 1 through 25. The four highest ranked conference champions got first round buys. Okay, you with me so far? Easy enough. The fifth one then fell wherever they were wherever they were ranked. So if they were ranked, example, 11th, they would have been 11. Or they could be no lower than 12 because obviously there's only 12 teams in the college football playoff. However, that created some real confusion, not only during the seasons when they were showing the potential playoff bracket, but then at the end, because number 1 Oregon, their first game in the Rose Bowl got Ohio State. Okay? Now, Ohio State lost to Michigan end of the year, so that kind of dropped them down. But Oregon Conference Champion, you would like to see them play maybe a Arizona State or an Indiana or a Boise State or one of the lower ranked teams first because they earn that right being the number 1 overall seed. I think what the new bracket ended up looking like where they would have played the winner of Indiana and I want to say Boise. Like the opponent just would have been a little easier. Ohio State then would have gotten a first round bye. I think it was Ohio State. It would have been Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, and Oregon all receiving the first round buys. So let's just start with your thoughts. What are your thoughts on going to the straight seeding model?
It makes more sense. When it came to, we kind of talked about it last year where when the playoffs were going, we're like, why doesn't the number 1 team not get the easiest road, but like it's a more favorable road because of how the seeding should go. It's like, okay, if the 12-5 matchup, the winner of that one should play the number 1 seed. The 11-6 would play 2, like depending on how it would go.
Right.
Instead of we ended up where like Penn State ended up getting like the easiest road as like a whatever seed, or one of them did. But
yeah, they were a 7 seed because they got SMU 7-10, and then they got Boise, and then they got Notre Dame.
Yeah, so it makes more sense, and it should, like, you should whatchamacallit, kind of reward your top team. You know, they did everything they needed to do. They were undefeated. They were the best, you know, in the regular season. So the matchups should be a little bit better too, I think.
I am trying to find what the model would have, or what the bracket. Oh, here it is. Maybe. Okay. So here is how it would have looked last year, and I apologize. So here's how it would have looked. Oregon would have been the number 1 overall seed. Okay. Then it would have been Georgia the 2, Texas the 3, Penn State the 4. So I apologize about putting Ohio State in. Oregon would have gotten the winner of Boise, Indiana. Penn State would have gotten the winner of Clemson, Notre Dame. Texas would have gotten the winner of Arizona State, Ohio State. And Georgia would have gotten the winner of Tennessee, SMU. So we actually got almost all of those matchups. Texas got Ohio State. Penn State got Notre Dame. Boise and Indiana were eliminated on their first try, and then Georgia and SMU. So it would have looked a lot different, but I agree. I just think that it makes more sense to straight seed them because of just the schedules are different, right? They want to preach strength of schedule, but at the end with the 4 kind of first round buys, I think that they thought that the 4 highest conference ranked champions were going to be the top teams. And that just did not play out this year. And then when you have a team like, for example, Ohio State, let's just say they go to it's them and Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. And because I'm an Ohio State hater, let's just say Ohio State loses to Oregon, right? But drops to 3. In the old model, they probably would have been 5 and then would have had to play that first round, when in reality they shouldn't be penalized for losing their conference championship game.
Right.
You know, you should only be rewarded for playing in that game, which has been something of a stickler for many people. So we're going to roll this conversation right into the next thing that is on the table, which is they are expanding to 16 teams. Starting in 2026, they are expanding to 16 teams. This is the last year of 14 teams. We went 10 years with 4 teams, and we all bitched about that enough that we then got 12, and then they immediately turned right around. They went to 16. What's stopping them from expanding from 16? I don't know. We'll just have to figure that out when we get there. It's one day at a time. The 2 models that are on the table are one that everyone thought was wildly popular, which was automatic qualifiers, which is 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 for the highest ranked group of 5 champion, and then 3 at-large bids filled in based on the committee's rankings. Robert, stupid or dumb that model?
I don't want to say it's stupid or dumb. I just don't think it's a good model.
Why?
Because I don't like giving conferences automatics.
Okay.
Oh, trying to reconnect. Golly, we're trying to reconnect.
We may have lost Roberto.
I hear you. I hear you.
We may have lost him.
Nope. I'm here. We back?
Oh, I hear you now.
I see you. You're moving.
Okay.
I'm moving. We're in this together.
I hear you.
Okay.
I think you're back.
Am I moving?
Yeah, you're moving.
We're moving. I just don't like the idea of giving teams conferences automatics, because not 4 teams from the Big Ten deserve to go in.
Or what happens when there are 5 teams that deserve to go in?
Right. You're honestly creating more headaches down the road. You know, you're like, oh well, you have you have an undefeated Oregon, a 1-loss Penn State, 1-loss Notre Dame, 1-loss Michigan, because most of them only play each other once. Okay.
And now we officially
recording continues normally for everyone else.
Yeah. So he was making great points. So you get what you're going to get with this automatic qualifier until Robert gets back in is you're going to get teams that have 3 or even 4 losses in. Oh, he's coming back in. So you're going to get I don't know.
What is happening?
A technology couldn't find the sound bites. You're in and out. I'm about the podcast is probably just going to close down. Who knows what's happening here? So what were you saying? You were saying 1 loss Notre Dame, 1 loss Oregon, and then you stopped.
Well, so if you have undefeated Oregon, 1 loss Ohio State, 1 loss Penn State, 1 loss Michigan, because they really only play each other once,
right?
And say we get a 1 loss Minnesota, or maybe a 2 loss, that just is sitting there and is better than some of the Big 12 teams. And it's like, well, they probably should have gotten in versus they didn't get in. It should, if you're going to do the top 16 teams, you just continue the same motives where, okay, you're 1, 2, 3, and 4, bang, 5, 6, 7, 8 through 16. You just continue it. Or if they want to do like, I don't know, your first 4 get a 2, like a double bye, like the whole double bye thing. If they try to go that route, or if they just do single buys or whatever, but just giving teams automatics is kind of what you were trying to avoid in the first place.
Are you okay with the other model that is 5 plus 11, which, and I'll get into why this is important, 5 automatic qualifiers for the 5 highest ranked conference champions? I'm okay if they give automatic qualifiers for the conference champions. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because they deserve it.
I agree with you. I agree that they deserve it. So the 5 plus 11 model is the 5 automatic qualifiers, AQs as they call them, for conference champion, and then 11 at-large bid, regardless of conference affiliation. This was not even on the table. What I had heard, Robert, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're a little more like locked into certain things. The 4-4-2-2-1-3 whatever model, that's all I heard for months. Is that what you heard?
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to College Game Day podcast, and they were at SEC Media Days, so they were talking about, just stuff that college football fans would appreciate. And Pete Thamel goes, I found it very interesting that Greg Sankey addressed all the coaches and athletic directors about a 5 plus 11 model. Because Greg Sankey isn't going to just talk to some of the most powerful people in college football about a model if it wasn't gaining traction. Right. And then wouldn't you know, about 2 days later, Heather Dinich, terrific insider, never met her, she seems like a great gal for ESPN, posts an article that the 5 plus 11 model is gaining a lot of traction. The 4-4-2-2-1 model is very popular among athletic directors. The 5 plus 11 model is very popular among coaches. I may have that backwards, and I apologize. But it's the coaches and the ADs from the same school want each one a different model. And I think that that's very interesting because you're going to see the power struggle with who has more power at a school. I understand in the hierarchy of things, the athletic director will always have more power unless if you're Kirby Smart, right? Unless if you're Ryan Day, right? The big time, like there was no athletic director on the planet that was going to tell Nick Saban anything, right? Besides the rules that he may or may not be breaking at the time. I'm not saying Nick Saban, I'm just giving an example, right? So I think that this is going to cause an internal struggle. I'm all about the 5 plus 11 model. I don't want automatic qualifiers because it's just, I want it to be different from the NFL, and we're getting closer and closer to the NFL, and I don't need all that. I really, really do not need all that. So that's all that is to be said with that. Another thing that I want to touch on is the College Football Hall of Fame lowered their Hall of Fame criteria, win percentage. So one of the things for coaches they have to do to get into the College Football Hall of Fame is they have to have a 60% win percentage. They lowered it to 59.5 in order to let Mike Leach, RIP, in, who had like a 59.7, I think. So they're letting him into the Hall. And sometimes I just think life works out the way that it should. Mike Leach was never, like, he was an air raid guy through and through. Started at Oklahoma. He was a quirky guy. I mean, in one of the postseason in the postgame press conferences, he was talking about which college football mascot of the Pac-12 at the time would, like, how that would go down. That was an all-time great interview. He gave all-time great post-game interviews. He was just a character, a college football character that everyone loved. He was taken from us too quickly. He finally had an SEC job at Mississippi State and was doing very well with them before he passed. I like this move. I also think this helps Les Miles, because wasn't that the thing with LSU? LSU had to vacate all those wins, and so it lowered Les Miles' win percentage too low to get in the Hall, I think.
I think so, yeah. What's his percentage at one? I'm looking at it now.
Okay. Yeah, my
59.7. So yeah.
50. So again, he would be able to get into the Hall now. Les Miles would.
Prior to that, he was 66.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just help Mike Leach out. However, I would be okay if they changed a rule just for Mike Leach. I still think back to that 2007 game, I want to say. Texas Tech at night. Has Texas at home, number one Texas, and they take them down, and it was the Michael Crabtree along the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any Mike Leach moments or Mike Leach coach teams moments that stick out to you?
Oh, dude, just when he locked the kid in the closet. Obviously, like, you don't remember when he did that?
No.
I think that was Texas Tech. Mike Leach.
While he's looking that up, he had a lot of. Cliff Kingsbury was a quarterback under him. Graham Harreld was a quarterback under him. Both have coordinators now.
So when he was at Texas Tech, there was a player who had a concussion.
Okay.
So, and at that time it was, you needed like cognitive rest, you needed to be in dark rooms, blah, 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 whatever. So Mike Leach locked him in like described as a shed, a garage, or an electrical broom closet. Yeah.
I don't think you could get away with that right now.
You couldn't really get away with it then either.
You couldn't really get away with it then?
That's just how it goes.
That's oh man, that's really funny. If you are a college football fan, comment down below right now if you've made it this far in the video. What is your favorite Mike Leach moment? I remember he drew the College Game Day tells a story. Offensive coordinator, Oklahoma. He drops a fake play sheet.
Yeah.
In the Cotton Bowl. Texas picked it up. And it was like it was this play script, first 20 plays, and he made up a fake one and he dropped it. And and Texas was confused. Now, Oklahoma went on to lose that game once Texas figured it out. But that just Mike Leach was an out of the box thinker. I don't even think he wasn't really he never played college football. I don't even know if he played high school football. He was under the tutelage of Chuck Mummert. That can't be his name. It's something Mummert. Hal Mummert. The great grandfather of the air raid They developed that, and then he is Mike Leach is the grandfather of the air raid, and he's had lots of coaches spun off from that, including one Lincoln Riley, including Dana Holgerson, and I believe Rich Rodriguez is also of that tree. So just one man's life just touches a lot of people, and you can definitely see that. I also find it fascinating, like a coach's tree, you can just see how many lives they touched kind of in real time. That's all I have planned. So what do you want to talk about? What's moving under your bed? You got a cat or something?
No, it's the bottom of, because Eve crawls under the bed and she ripped like the bottom like thing on the box spring. So now it just kind of flows in the wind. Yeah.
You got a fan going?
Yeah, because it gets hot up here.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, well, what wind is flowing?
Yeah, there's a fan going back there.
Okay. Right.
So I am currently looking at the current leader and records for win-loss percentage for college football. Okay.
Okay.
There are 249 names on this list.
Okay.
Can you tell me where Jim Harbaugh lies and what his win percentage is? I'll make it easier for you. Top 75.
So, okay, Jim Harbaugh's win percentage got to be.
I'm also not expecting you to know this.
68%.
Nope. Higher. Surprisingly.
72?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, he was real good outside. I mean, he was beating the teams he was supposed to, and then he was losing to the teams he was supposed to for a long time, and then he broke through. Okay, so wait, what did I say? 72?
72%.
72%. Okay. Jim Harbaugh is top 75. Is 66th.
No. Low. Better.
So like 58th?
Better.
Oh, wow. Top
Right?
55?
Top 55.
Top 50?
50.
He's 50 exactly.
Yeah, 50 on the nose. I was like, interesting.
Okay, so, and this just goes to show college football fans, man, and I'm one of those included. I wanted him out. The fact that he's top 50 in all-time win percentage in college football. Now, that probably takes into account Stanford, I would have to imagine.
Yes, Stanford and Michigan combined.
Okay, Stanford and Michigan, though. That's still very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
That's still very impressive. Who's number one? Saban? No, Saban.
No, that was Newt Rodney. It was like 80-some%.
Oh, I wonder if there's a minimum on those. There's got to be a minimum.
I just closed it.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, but it's like I think 52% was like number 256 or something like that. Let's see. Any interesting facts?
Oh, you know what I do want to pull up?
What is it?
I want to ask. Week 1 college football. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We're gonna take out week 0, even though in Dublin, Ireland, Iowa State versus Kansas State.
Horrible game to have there.
Well, how's that a horrible game to have there?
Because it's just like two goofy teams in Ireland. Like Georgia Tech, Florida State. Okay, I could see that. Like, it should be two East Coast teams. Like, make it, to be honest with you, they really wanted to kick it off. If you do like a Penn State, Notre Dame, Boston College.
Penn State played over there once or twice. I mean, they did so, yeah. One year they did what, Nebraska and Northwestern. Does that also not fit the vibe for you, Robert?
Nebraska, not so much. Northwestern, yes. Like Northwestern, Purdue, it would be a terrible game, but it fits like Ireland better, I would say.
How bad is Purdue going to be?
I would say that they are going to be better than Northwestern by maybe 1 win, but worse than the rest of the field by about 8 wins.
Wow, no love for Northwestern, huh?
No. No.
I mean,
Northwestern will be a weird team. If I have to guess, Northwestern will be a team where
500.
they'll win games, but
Yeah.
you're not going to care because it's like, oh, it's Northwestern.
Okay. Northwestern could be 12-0, and who would care that they won 12 games, right?
Just like the athletic director, and that's about it.
Because I mean, they got like 4 fans in the stands, and
Yeah.
that's not a shot on Northwestern fans. That's a shot on where they're playing right now, which is
Yeah, they're
on
still on their soccer field or whatever,
soccer, lacrosse field,
or whatever it is.
whatever that is. All right. So you're clearly not excited for Iowa State, Kansas State. That's fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm a normal college football fan and I will carve out time in my day to sit down and watch this entire game. I truly understand you're probably going to watch at least some, if not all, of the games I'm about to say. Okay? So, scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
How excited are you to watch these games? Week 1.
Are you going to go through the games, or
Yes,
am I just
I'm
like
going...
saying it? Oh, okay. Well, you're like stopping. You're stopping.
Yeah, because
like,
you're looking at me with your face of you have no idea what I'm saying to you.
No, that's a normal face, dog. I am just waiting for you to start ripping off games here.
Lafayette and Bowling Green. I'm kidding. Don't answer that.
10.
Nebraska, Cincinnati. That's a real one.
7.
Okay.
I think that it'll be actually a pretty good game, and I obviously I like Dylan Raiola, and I think he's actually probably obviously not the best quarterback in Nebraska history, but he's probably the best one they've had in the past while. It's been a hot minute.
3 decades, 30 years, easy.
Well, I know. Was Adrian Martinez? Wasn't he the quarterback?
No. You're right. Adrian Martinez isn't Dylan Raiola better than Adrian Martinez though? Who was that kid with the really goofy throwing motion? What was his name? Taylor Martinez?
Maybe it was Taylor. I don't know. They had 2 Martinez's at like back to back, didn't they? Okay,
Adrian, you are right about Adrian Martinez.
Adrian was more the runner, wasn't he? Adrian was the runner, and
Taylor Martinez was the runner.
Taylor, one of them ran. One of them was a really good runner.
Why do I got bugs down here? That's concerning. Georgia Tech, Colorado.
What time is that one?
8 p.m.
6.
It's on a Friday night. All right. Also at 8 p.m. same night, Auburn at Baylor.
I would say since those are at the same time, I would probably put that one as a 10 because I would probably watch that one over Colorado.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Here we go. Saturday slate. Syracuse at Tennessee. That's at noon.
Maybe 6.
Okay. Texas at Ohio State. That's also at noon.
That'll be a 10. You know,
okay,
you're gonna watch that one.
Where do you fall on Big Noon Kickoff? Tell me where you fall on Big Noon Kickoff. Because that clearly everyone has finally gotten on Old Man Micaiah's level with Big Noon Kickoff.
I mean, I'm okay with it. And here's why I'm okay with it. Because Fox has to compete somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And you're never going to compete against, you're never going to beat ESPN and what was it, ABC, CBS, whatever
Saturday
one.
Football.
Yeah.
Right, ABC.
You're never going to be able to beat those late night games if you're trying to outright beat them. If you're just trying to compete with them, I wouldn't waste it on like an Ohio State Texas. That would be like, we're starting the day off, we're getting the name out there, Ohio State Texas, because if you can go and start the day off with an absolute banger of a game,
sets the tone.
Yeah, by the time you're at that 8 p.m. slot, you're already saying, hey, what a day. Because the chances are that the late night game could actually end up being kind of a blowout, which we usually see if it's like Alabama, LSU, Georgia. You know what I mean? Unless it's Alabama and Georgia, that's when it's a really good game. But like
electric game.
If you can start off so strong, which is always the hope, you know, you get people talking. and I know Ohio State's always like mad because they're always the noon game, but to me, if Fox is going to be the flagship for the Big Ten, then put me at your flagship spot, which is the big noon kickoff. I get
The
hate, but
it,
I mean,
it,
I also
the only problem I have with it is when it is a top 5 matchup, which you're getting. If you're getting a top 5 matchup at noon, and then your 7:30, 8 o'clock game is a top 10 matchup, okay, fine. I want to watch both in their entirety all the way through. So fine, give me 2 different time slots. My issue is that when you have a top 5 matchup at noon, and then you got garbage at 8, you got Oklahoma and Alabama at 8. Turned out to be a pretty good game.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, don't give me the lame game early, and then it kind of goes to your point. Don't give me a decline through Saturday. I need this for Saturday, or just starts off good and just stays good all the way through. Very hard to do.
Even if you end up looking at it and you say, we had a huge, like, a Texas, Ohio State way up there, and you're coming into your 1 o'clock, 3:30 games, and it's kind of like, your, let's see, Old Dominion, Indiana, Alabama, Florida State, Marshall, Georgia, and you're kind of like, all right, whatever. But then you're coming back up because now we got, on the night slot, we got LSU and Clemson. Night game at Death Valley. Let's be honest. I would rather put on a night game that is at Clemson, Penn State, LSU, over in Ohio State, because it's like...
Rank those for me real quick.
On what, stadium atmosphere at night?
Clemson, LSU, Penn State.
Rank them how? How?
What? One gets 1, one gets 2, one gets 3.
Yeah, obviously. Am I ranking their stadium atmosphere? Am I ranking how I think like they're going to be? Who's the better team?
Oh no, like stadium atmosphere in your opinion.
I'm going to go 1 Clemson, 2 LSU, Penn State 3. I could honestly flip LSU and Clemson.
You got Death Valley over Death Valley. Crazy.
I mean, it's kind of a win-win.
It is a win-win. I think they're very. I think you're right. Clemson and LSU, I think, are very, very similar in atmosphere. I've not been to either.
And you know how I feel about Penn State at night because it's one game a year.
Yeah.
Where Clemson and LSU, it's literally anytime that sun goes down, it is the most electric atmospheres ever.
It's there's some sort of switch or something that gets cooked up
in the South.
In South when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And you can't just tell me it's alcohol. Right? That helps, but you can't tell me that's all the way. So the over-under for Florida State, Alabama is 12.5. I'm sorry. The line right now is Alabama minus 12.5. Is Florida State covering or no?
First game of the season, I'm going to say yes.
They are at home.
Florida State's home. Alabama's going to start off with a freshman quarterback.
First time starter. I think Ty Simpson's...
Well, he might be a redshirt freshman.
Whatever he is, sure.
It's like the same thing. But it's, an actual road game for Alabama, and we know how actual road games go so far.
Yeah.
So I think that... Do I think Florida State wins? Probably not. Do I think they keep it within 12? Yeah, they probably lose by 10.
When Jimbo had Florida State rocking Tallahassee at night with the chant.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
That was electric, man. It was real annoying. I'll tell you what, real annoying, but electric. All right. So, so we roll into the 7 p.m. games. Clemson, LSU, that's got to be a 10.
10, yeah.
I would assume.
And that's when I would not want, because, okay, not everyone has YouTube TV where you can put 4 on your screen. But even at that moment, I don't want to put those two side by side.
Which two? I'm sorry. The Texas, Ohio State?
Yeah, if they were both at 7:30.
Yeah.
I would not want to do that because I want to focus on this game should be an absolute barn.
Correct. Correct. I agree with you. Here's the deal, though. What are you going to do? This is this is any college football fan's dilemma, who's a fan of the sport, but also a diehard as we are. Clemson, LSU, 7:30. New Mexico, Michigan, also 7:30. You want to see how Michigan performs first week of the season, but you know that Michigan should probably just handle business against New Mexico.
Right.
So what do you do?
Well, brother, that's why me and you have multiple TVs in our household. But I don't like. I know, like that's a scenario where I'll still probably have 4 on. Most of my attention will be to the LSU Clemson game, but it's like every now and then you're glancing down to see, okay, Bryce did something, or whoever we have,
Mikey Keene.
Yeah, if he did,
I think it's gonna be Mike. I think it's got to be Mikey Keene.
Yeah, more than likely. But I'm still going to be checking down, looking at theirs. Like, oh, that one's on a commercial. Okay, all right, LSU's up 3. You know, like
where's your sound? Is your sound on LSU Clemson?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Are you going to stay up late for Utah at UCLA, 11 p.m. on Fox?
You know, I would absolutely love to, but we are running into, once again, the Pac-12 at night, even though it's not the Pac-12 anymore.
Tupac.
Yeah, it's... And, I bet you it would actually be a decent game, but it's not decent enough to make me want to stay up that late. I'll fall asleep and wake up at 1:30 and it'll be halftime, but...
You can tune into TNT and Max for Hawaii at Arizona at 10:30, so get an extra half hour. I would just like everyone to know that SMU starts off their season with a crazy difficult game against East Texas A&M. Never even heard of that school. Sunday, shocking alert, we get a doubleheader. Sunday, Virginia Tech out South Carolina, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And then the nightcap, Notre Dame at Miami. Not going to lie, I think Virginia Tech, South Carolina has the potential to be a better game than Notre Dame, Miami.
Yeah, more than likely. Part of me would rather have that South Carolina game as my 7:30, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not at South Carolina.
I know, but if it was. Yeah. But this is the 7:30 slot is also where Texas and Ohio State wanted to put the game. So again, you'd be fighting with Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, and Ohio State, which, again, I really wouldn't want to have them on at the same time, like on the same screen, because again, you're Miami, Notre Dame, that they are going to market the hell out of that game, because again, we're coming back to the Catholics versus convicts thing.
Oh, yeah, two big brands. I mean? Two big brands. I would love college football. Honestly, should take a little more here. Of Sunday. This is your only Sunday, right? The entire season. Right. This is your one Sunday. Why not also put a game at noon?
Yeah.
Noon, I mean, 3, 7.
And you don't have to make it like a big game. You could do, honestly, an Oregon, Montana State. That would have been a good spot for them on a Sunday.
Right. I mean, literally, you could do UTSA, Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
That's the 7 p.m. game on ESPN. The night before, no one's probably going to, except for A&M and UTSA fans, or 4-box people that's just happens to be the fourth box that you're paying attention to. Like, no one's really going to pay attention to that. Oregon, Montana State, like, anyone could jump in. Penn State, Nevada, that would be kind of cool because everyone has Monday off. And then Monday somehow is Bill Belichick's home opener in Kennan Stadium in Chapel Hill, which is TCU at North Carolina. And we'll stop here because I think Sonny Dykes, 2 years removed from making a national championship run, it's got to be on the hot seat in TCU. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I think the up and downness isn't really going to fly in a Texas school. Am I out on a whim here with that, or because that's just me pulling that opinion out of my butt?
I mean, they went 9-4 last year, so it's definitely.
Shut up! No, they didn't.
Yeah.
TCU went 9-4. I thought they went like 5-7.
No, 2024, Stanford, Long Island University. Then they lost to UCF and SMU. Then they beat Kansas, lost to Houston, beat Utah, Texas Tech, lost to Baylor, beat Oklahoma State, Arizona, Cincinnati, and then Louisiana in their bowl game.
It was the year before. It was
2023 was when they were bad. They were 5-7 in 23.
But this is what my thought is. Okay, so you're 9-4. You make the national championship, then you go 5-7, then you go 9-4. That's great. I'm sorry, Horned Frog fans, but this is kind of my point. You're irrelevant. You went 9-4, and I had no idea you went 9-4. Rob, could you have told me they went 9-4 last year?
No, because I actually thought they were bad. Like, I thought that because what sticks to my mind is the game against Colorado. When you say TCU, that's the game that comes to mind because they lost that game to Colorado in 23. So that's just automatically where my mind went.
Right.
So I would say it's a make or break year for Sonny, but more on the make side. Like if he goes 9-4 again, I think he's still okay.
He's still fine. Yeah, he's still fine. I'm sorry. Again, I honestly thought he went 5-7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he has a 5-7 year, like 2 years ago, he might be more on the chop block.
Okay.
So.
All right. That's great. You got any fun facts? Fun facts with Bob?
Yeah, let's take a couple. Let's see. Can you tell me?
Probably not.
So it's the longest field goal. I want two answers.
Mm-hmm.
The yardage.
Mm-hmm.
And the school.
Oh my gosh. Is it recent?
No. 76. 1976.
64 yards.
No.
62 yards.
Longer.
Oh, longer. 63?
Longer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 66.
No.
65.
Longer.
67.
Longer.
Stop. I don't believe this at this. 70. 70.
Shorter.
68.
Longer.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Very
right.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, school. You got to give me a region.
I will give you a state.
Okay, give me a state.
Actually, so I don't think they're Division 1. So, but Texas.
If you don't even know,
it's Abilene Christian.
Okay,
that's why I was like, you weren't going to get that.
Time out.
Fun fact, though.
Time out. It's a fun fact. Do we actually think that happened? Because you're telling me that NFL kickers, like the longest in NFL is Justin Tucker, who bounced it off the crossbar and in 66 yards in a dome, perfect conditions.
Well, it did say that he got favorable winds blowing, so I'm sure like the wind gave him an assist.
Yeah, but what's he kicking against? Like, what's he kicking with? Like 20 miles an hour wind?
Dude, it's possible it's Texas. You know how wind is in Texas.
No, tornadoes, I don't, because I've never been to Texas.
Tornadoes, dog. You never know.
Are tornadoes in Texas? I thought that was more of an Oklahoma thing. Ain't no love in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's just like a little north of them, but it's a whole area. Tornado Alley. Okay, next one. The first game with instant replay.
I could tell you the first game with the yellow line as the first down marker. Just learned that recently. First game with instant replay in college.
So it's in college, and it's a big rivalry game.
Red River rivalry.
No. End of the year.
Iron Bowl?
No.
Big rivalry.
End of the year.
Not Michigan,
No.
Ohio State. Army, Navy.
Army, Navy.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bonus points for the year.
1982.
No, before that.
Okay, that's a little shocking to me.
right?
1979.
Before that.
1977.
Before that.
75?
Just decade.
Are you talking in the 60s? We had instant replay in the 60s?
Yeah. So, December 7th, 1963, a fourth quarter touchdown was replayed from a tape during the broadcast. Since no game had ever replayed footage during a broadcast, the game announcers had to explain to the viewing audience that they were not watching Army score again, but were watching a taped replay of the previous touchdown.
Okay, so this is how dumb I am. I thought when you said replay, I thought you meant like a challenge almost, or like
It is. Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They re-showed Army scoring this touchdown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that replay was like instant replay was that early. That's crazy. That's a fun fact there.
There was only one team that was undefeated, untied, and was unscored on for an entire regular season of 10 games.
Okay. This has got to be like early 1900s.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this like Yale or Harvard?
No.
Chicago?
No, SEC. Now, at this time, I don't know if they were SEC, but like modern day SEC.
Modern day SEC. Okay. Alabama?
No.
Florida?
No. Rivalry with Alabama. Cigars.
Oh, third Saturday in October.
Yeah. Tennessee.
And what year was that?
1939.
That's a lot later than what I would have guessed, like 1910, right? Like I would have guessed much earlier than that. That's wow. So wait, untied, unscored on,
Yep.
undefeated.
It's the only perfect season according to this.
So none of Tennessee's opponents that year scored on them.
That's what it says.
They had video game numbers the whole season. That's crazy.
Okay. Video game numbers. They could have won 6-0.
Okay.
3-0.
Yeah, I mean, touchdowns were still probably worth a single point back then.
True. Do you know what the first bowl game was?
Rose Bowl, granddaddy of them all.
Yes. Can you tell me who played in the game?
No.
It's a pretty big game. It was 1902.
Not. That was 123 years ago.
Yeah.
Does it feature two teams that are around right now?
Yes. This is the best clue I can give you.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh.
Michigan, Stanford.
Yep. Who won?
Michigan.
Goddamn right.
Let's go.
49-0.
49-0.
Yeah.
Oh, we took it to them, boys,
Yeah,
back
we
in
did.
1902.
Yep. Longest win streak. That's Oklahoma. That's easy.
That is easy. Longest winning streak, yeah. What is it, 60-some games?
47.
Oh, my gosh, I'm an idiot.
Let's see. Most passing attempts. That's a good one. Quarterback from Washington State.
Under Mike Leach. Probably. Is it Luke Falk?
No.
Gardner Minshew.
No. It was 2013.
That would have been Mike Leach.
It was against Oregon. Not that helps, but
Wasn't Luke Falk? It was probably a quarterback before Luke Falk.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
man.
there's no way you get this.
I'm going to kick myself because I think I've probably heard the name before. Okay, go ahead.
Connor Halliday.
Yes. Son of a bitch. I knew that.
89 passes.
Yes. Under Mike Leach, by the way. So way to bring it full circle there, bud.
And then it was. So that's technically Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
Division 2 is owned by Eastern New Mexico's J.J. Hart.
104 passes.
94.
Darn it. Someone's got to try to set a record for 100 passes in a game.
Brother, we have a hard enough time getting people to run the ball more than 100 times a season.
Okay, but hear me out. So how many plays are typically in a college football game, right? For one team, 80.
If there's a team to do it, it's Tennessee. Because Tennessee runs that hurry up, the up tempo.
Mm-hmm. They hit that X button after the play stops.
Yeah,
they hold that X button.
Turbo.
I still think Tennessee likes to run the ball too much, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing with Mike Leach was he would throw a 2-yard pass as his running game. Like there was no like he was just throw all the time. It's got to be, it can't be a big league school because they're actually playing with money. It's got to be a team that no one's going to think about for the entire. It's got to be a team in the Fun Belt that runs air raid.
Oh, it'd be like UTSA,
something like that, somebody like that. But okay, so let's just think about this. Average plays per game, I'm just going to guess, is hovering around 80 if you're up tempo and if you're scoring a lot. Agree? Probably. Yeah. To get 100 passes in a game probably means that you're running 120 plays. How many times do you think 120 plays has been run in a game?
By a single team. I want to say more often than what we think.
Okay, in 2024, no FBS team averaged 100 offensive plays per game. The highest average was achieved by Texas Tech, that was 80.6 plays per game. To reach an average of 100 plays per game, teams would need to run approximately 20 more plays per game than the current leader, which is a significant increase. How many did give me a Chip Kellen 2011 Oregon, right?
Yeah.
What was this? I'm using ChatGPT. Everybody go use ChatGPT. What was 2011 Oregon? This was like prime Chip Kelly. In 2011, Chip Kelly's Oregon Ducks ran 1,015 plays over 14 games, right? So that takes into account the Pac-12 championship game and the national title game because it was BCS. That, if you do the math, averages out to 72.5 plays per game. Oregon, 78.8 plays per game were significantly higher than the expected 67.9 per game based on their run-pass ratio. This indicates that the Ducks consistently operated at a pace well above the norm, contributing to their offensive success during that season. So in order to get 100 pass attempts, first of all, you got to be winning or at least scoring. Your defense has to suck, because if you're going to run 120 plays, your defense is going to have to give up a lot of points, because at no point, if you're up 56-0, if you're up by 20, 15, 10, whatever, are you going to be running tempo the whole game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. You got anything else you want to talk about? You want to get out of here?
That's everything, my man.
All right, then let's get out of here. I want to thank everyone for being here. Go follow us on the socials. 4th and 1 podcast on everywhere. 4th and 1 pod on TikTok. We will be back at some point in time. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Deuces.
Happy birthday, Heather.
Happy birthday, Heather.